Hi there, I'm Brad and welcome to the Bristol Show 2026. I am joined by Jonathan from Michell Audio. Hello, Jonathan.
Hello, Brad.
Lovely to meet you. We've not met before.
We have not, no.
No, we had a little chit-chat before filming, but nothing actually relating to hi-fi.
Not at all, no.
It was all pretty random stuff. Probably best we leave it out entirely. But you are here with Michell Audio.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So the company itself, so it's a family-run business. Mm-hmm. We've been going since in different guise, but since the 1960s, and then we were incorporated in the early 70s. And like I say, it's family, so we're now in the third generation. So, which makes it a very interesting office life when it's mostly family, because any titles and hierarchy goes completely out the window when there's an argument or whatever like that. So it's an interesting sort of setup. But me personally, I started my life in working life, obviously, in the hi-fi shops.
Yep.
I always had a love for music and hi-fi. So I started in hi-fi shops, then I had a custom install business for about 12 years. Then I went to work for a custom installer. It didn't really work out. It was a very, very high pressure situation. Yeah. And then my father-in-law, Steve, said, well, why don't you come and work for us at Michell? And, now I'm...
And the rest is history.
Yeah, and I'm MD now, so... and trying to move everything on. So.
And as a brand, again, I know what it is you do, but for anyone that might not be familiar, what is it that Michell Audio produce?
So we're essentially an engineering company. And way back in the day, we used to make all sorts of OEM parts for speaker manufacturers. We still make parts for PMC. Yeah. And we also made turntables for different brands, like OEM products. So that's where we started, and that's still what we do today, but mainly all under our own brand. So we're a turntable manufacturer. We make a range of, currently 4 turntables. We make a range of tone arms, which are modified Riga tone arms. We make a range of cartridges, and we've recently brought out a phono stage as well. So historically we've done electronics before. We went away from it, and now we've sort of making a gentle go back into making electronics.
Okay, so you're expanding on the turntable business. Yeah. Very nice. And the ranges that are available, what sort of price points are we talking, like the ultra luxury or?
No, it's not budget entry level. Our Technodeck turntable is our entry into our brand. That's £2,000 with an arm and a cartridge. Yeah. Then you move up to the Revolve turntable, which is a brand new product for us. Yeah. That retails for $3,995 without an arm and cartridge, so you can add whatever you want onto it. Then we've got a new version of the gyro, which is sort of the turntable we're most known for. Yes. That retails for $6,995, and then currently we've got the Orb, which is our flagship, but it's like $6,500. It's priced very close to the gyro, but it will be replaced fairly soon. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. So a little sneak information there. Nice. I like that. And as you say, the gyro deck's probably the sort of the one that you're most known for, because aesthetically they're quite striking bits of kit, aren't they? Yeah. They have the obviously gold weights hanging from the platter, so when they're turning, they're quite a pretty thing. Yeah. It's almost like a modern art installation. Yeah. Yeah. We get that sort of comparison quite a lot. Yeah. But the thing is, they're there. We polish them up. We make them look nice, but they're actually there to make the platter turn at a very even speed. So it improves speed stability by having the weights around the periphery. Yeah. So they're actually functional. They're not just there to look good. Yeah, absolutely. And it's quite clear there's a lot of engineering that goes into these products. It's not just here's a plinth and away we go. There's a lot to the bits of kit. Yeah, and that's, I mean, so the original gyro deck, for instance, came out in 1982, and it was one of the very first skeletal style turntables, so stripping away the traditional wooden box from a turntable and all that sort of thing, because they have a detrimental effect to the sound. And so there was lots of engineering that went into that. John was a master engineer when he designed that, and he, all the different pieces of it. So it's a suspended turntable, but it's a pendulum style, so it hangs on the springs rather than the springs being in compression. Got you. That's inherently more stable. And what we did, so basically from the conception of that turntable, that design then formed the basis of all of our range.
Yeah.
And we've innovated and sort of updated it from then up until it went out of production October last year. So if you just compared the final ones in October last year to the 1982 one, they look very similar.
Yeah.
But pretty much everything had been touched.
Yeah.
It had all been updated. And now what we've done with the new model, the only caveat was it needs to still look like the gyro.
Yeah.
But it is basically a completely new turntable.
So aesthetically it might look the same, but what's under the hood is completely different.
Totally different.
And now, this is a bit of a tangent, so I do apologise. Am I right in thinking that the origins of Michell, actually, there's something about miniatures for films?
Yeah, so our original factory was positioned round the corner from Elstree Studios. And John's father, I believe it was, worked in the studios.
Yeah.
So there's lots of connections. So they would commission him to make parts. So he made parts for the film 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
He made parts for the spaceship models. And then they would also come. They'd come in and they would take parts and use them on costumes and things like that.
Yeah.
A lot of those parts we don't actually know until someone points them out. It's normally the cosplay guys go say, "Oh, have you got one of these?"
Yeah.
And it turns out to be a part on a costume. But I suppose the most famous parts we made, we was commissioned to make the eyes for C-3PO.
That's very
from Star
cool.
Wars. So, and they are made from turntable platter weights.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're actually made from, because that was the right size billets of brass to make them from. But equally, turntable pulleys. So if you watch the first 3 films, the Imperial officers have a cap badge and a belt badge. They're all turntable pulleys. Boba Fett is absolutely covered in turntable.
He's part
parts.
turntable, is he?
Yeah, basically, yeah. All the little rockets. We used to make a sweep arm, universal sweep arm that basically sweeps across the record.
Yeah.
One of the internal parts is all the rockets.
Wow.
Loads and loads of bits and pieces. And again, we don't, because what they used to do, they'd come round and they would take all the parts.
Yeah.
And they'd say, how much for this? And John would say, oh, give me 20 quid.
Yeah.
But it was never documented.
So it's all just guesswork at this stage.
There's a lot of cosplay guys out there that have gone, and I don't know how they get the information, but they've got lists and images and with arrows saying this is this part. And then we get calls saying, oh, have you got a spindle from a 1982 or not 19 whatever it was, sweep arm or something like that, and then or a cage nut for this sort of thing or whatever it was, and we said, well, what do you want one of them for?
Yeah.
He says, oh, it's because it goes on the outfit.
See, we think the hi-fi industry is nerdy, but for a cosplayer, for a sci-fi nerd trying to get a movie accurate costume for Comic-Con or something like that, that's nerdy of a higher caliber. I think that's very cool, though. I didn't know about cool. C-3PO's eyes.
Oh, okay, yeah, we made those. So we've got a set of the originals.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What, are they just like sat on a shelf somewhere?
No, we actually did take the time to put them into a little glass. There's one in a Perspex case, and there's a little image behind that shows you when he was machining them and how he turned the brass into the eye. And then we've got a handful of other ones, which we actually found in a drawer when we moved out of our old premises. It's like, there's some eyes from
C-3PO eyes there.
I don't know what they're worth. That might be an interest in eBay.
Yeah, I imagine that would be, again, going back to the sci-fi nerds, there'd be, to be honest, I'd have a pair of C-3PO eyes. That would be...
I don't know what Lucasfilm would think of it, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
So we might get a snotty letter somewhere.
I mean, you don't want George Lucas knocking on your door.
Not really. Well, it'd be a man from Disney now, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, absolutely, yeah, even worse. Let's not say any more before we'll get a cease and desist. Yeah. Someone would come out of screen and just hand me one. Obviously, you guys have been at the show forever, basically. We were saying off screen beforehand, the only shows that you've missed were the ones that we didn't have shows, basically. Because of the COVID ones, So, that's got... You've obviously grown with the company as the show's grown, because it's going to be very different to what it was back in the day.
Back when, I mean, originally, obviously before my time, but there's stories of John because John was all, if you didn't have to spend money, he wouldn't. So he used to sleep in the room. So
in the demo room, just under
so
the
if
deck.
you got there early enough, you'd see him rolling his sleeping bag up. I don't think that was actually allowed. I think that was quite frowned upon.
I won't tell Tony. It's we won't let him know. But that's brilliant. But do you take on board, or do you get the opportunity at the show to have a lot of interaction with the end users and take on board their experiences? Does that influence what you guys do?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the best thing that you can hear is someone a customer that's already got a product, and they come to you and they say, "It's a revelation. I love it. I love it to bits. I'm listening to all my records again because they all sound so much better."
Yeah.
And that's the little bit that drives you, you know.
Yeah.
And we get phone calls, you know, and it can be small little parts they've bought, upgrades, this, that, and whatever it is. And when you get that positive feedback, that's what it's all about. And we still service turntables from the very, very first ones we ever made.
Yeah.
Even the ones for OEM manufacture.
Yeah.
So we try to support our customers right through. I mean, I don't know if you wouldn't be able to take your car back to somewhere and get it, you know, a vintage car serviced by the original manufacturer.
No, that would be quite rare, to be honest. But I think because our guys in our Southampton store are a big Michell enthusiast, and I think I'm right in saying that they've actually been to your factory and done a bit of training to do the servicing for those turntables. So they're also qualified as well, which is nice. So if you do need anything, they're the ones to speak to. Moving forward, obviously, having been involved with the show for so long, it's unlikely that you're going to stop. Have you got like a roadmap of stuff coming out in the near future, or?
So excuse me. So we just launched a Revolve turntable and the new gyro.
Yeah.
And part and parcel of doing that, the old platform, if you like, the old gyro, we couldn't go any further with it. So redesigning the whole structure and everything else has given us much more scope to go up and to go down. So there will be an expansion of the range at the moment, because we've just dropped 2 turntables out of it and replaced it with 1. So we need to grow the range a little bit. We also are in development of our own tone arms.
Yeah.
That's actually been quite a long process, but which we paused to get these turntables out. So
of course.
Now we're back on to doing that. We're also known for upgrades. We like customers to keep a customer. So rather than they buy a turntable, rather than them upgrading to somebody else, we'll buy some extra bits from us to make yours to take it to the next level. So that's also in development, is upgrades for these 2 new ones. And what will be and they'll form the basis of other parts for when we expand the range. So
I imagine as a company with such a big, heavy engineering background, that you're constantly assessing problems that might be presented in hi-fi and issues that are little niggles that you've gone, we can improve that, we can change that. So I imagine at any given time you've got like a handful of projects. Yeah,
we got all sorts of things, and some of the stuff is. So it's really interesting developing the new products, because you've got so many tools now. You know, the computer-aided design software and things like that, but the AI modelling and things that you can do, which is what we heavily did on the new gyro chassis. Now you can actually map and see what's going on within the structure. It gave us the opportunity to target. So we know what the issues with the turntable. You've got bass frequencies coming up through your equipment. You've got music in the room. You've got the stylus creating high frequency vibrations. All these different things. But now with the new tools, we can actually focus in and address each of those as an issue, rather than trying to just do a blanket or just try and dampen the chassis. Or whatever part it is of the turntable. Now we can actually focus on, this gets rid of that. So we address each issue individually and as part of the system, and that's where we've got this huge leap in performance. Because we're not just saying, we'll just put something rubbery on there and that will dampen it down, or put something heavy in there and that sort of thing. It's targeted this time. So, and it's that information then. Once you've got that information, you suddenly. Wow, and if we do this to it, we can make something else. Or we take a little bit of that away and we can do something down here. So it's opened up a whole different, not a design ethos, because our ethos and our sort of principles are the same, but with that knowledge, it's allowed us to do so much more.
Yeah, well, excellent, and it's exciting to know that that's constantly going on in the background. Obviously, you've got the stand downstairs on what's called the conservatory stairs, where people can sort of look at some of the individual components and chat through what's what. But you've also partnered with PMC to demonstrate the turntable as well, haven't you?
Yeah, so that was actually pivotal in all of what we've been doing, because so about 2 years ago we partnered with PMC PMC Distribution to start distributing our stuff in the UK, which freed us up to then do all this development.
Yeah.
Because we're only a very small family company, like I said earlier. And manpower is, time is king, if you like.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, that was a very key, relationship to form.
Yeah.
So they can then go off, manage the sales network as it should be done, and allows us to do what we do best, which is designing stuff and making parts. And what it does is also, obviously at the show, you can go into their room, you can listen to the new Revolve, you can listen to the new Gyro. But if you want to talk more, because it's always difficult to talk in a demo room, you can pop round to the stairwell where we are, where there isn't any noise, and you can get a proper explanation of what's going on. So it's working really well.
Yeah, lovely stuff. Well, Jonathan, thank you so much for coming to join me and chatting through the products. It's been really lovely to speak to you, and hopefully we'll be able to do this again next year.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much for that. Guys, thanks for watching. You take care. Bye now.